Okay, transcending the need for male attention. First thing, we have to admit that this is part of the biology. This is part of the software program. This is a deep-coded instinct that the universe put in people to be attracted to the opposite sex, generally speaking. Otherwise, this world just wouldn't be populated. There wouldn't be nobody on it. So we have to be drawn to that opposite energy polarity. Part of that is getting, like, we get a satisfaction when we get and feel some validation when we get a hit of attention from the opposite sex. The problem is the ego, because we didn't grow up in a organic, healthy, holistic family where we're just lavished attention on by our mom and dad. There's usually a deficit. So if you're a girl, there's a deficit of this authentic father male energy. So then subconsciously we start looking for it, and we're more prone to trying to get attention from guys in public, and also having sex. This is where a lot of the sex addiction and promiscuousness comes from, because it's like everything's like run by subconscious, because subconsciously the girls feel like, oh, because they didn't get the love from the dad, so then, oh, he has sex with me. That's a very intimate situation. It gives some kind of temporary nourishment. Now, I don't get too deep into psychology because actually there's no real answer there. Just by intellectually or mentally understanding these things, that's not going to all of a sudden just cure everything. In fact, it makes things worse on a certain level. I mean, it's okay to have a general understanding, which is what I feel I just gave, but more than that, you can just get trapped into the mind. There's always something more to figure out. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, and then some, they want to get into past regression, like, oh, I was an animal and I was a dog and I cheated on my dog boyfriend, and so now, like, just please, let's talk about what the real solution is. But first thing, that's why I wanted to lay the foundation, which is acceptance. Is first thing. Accept that this is a biological tendency to want to get attention from the opposite sex. That's natural. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. There's nothing wrong with enjoying it. But when it starts to become excessive, it makes you out of balance emotionally, then it's a problem. Now, some may say, I don't want another guy to ever look at me, ever. Can you hear where that's coming from, though? Sometimes that's coming from a kind of resentful place, because you've like been hurt by guys, and so the last thing you want to see is another guy. So it's like, please, I don't need any attention anymore. Or if you happen to be collectively attractive to where, and you live in a city or you live in a culture where the guys are super overt and they whistle at you and do constantly, yeah, you can get kind of burnt out on that. I can relate. I know, because I used to live in LA and near West Hollywood, and that's what the gay people would do to me when I was 22, and I was ready to fight anytime a guy looked at me after a certain point. I was, so I understand. I don't have that problem now, see, 48. So catch that, check that. That's important for you, for you to, because if there's, I'm making a video, I think the title's like, are you secretly harboring some intense resentment toward men or something? That's important to check, to catch out for your own organic wholeness inside, because anytime we're resentful at somebody or something, it's blocking us from experiencing, you can say, our inner serenity. It just is. It's just how it works. So, okay. Wanting attention a little bit, enjoying, is normal. But how do you keep that in check? How does it not become so important? Because there's some girls, they need it. They just need, and I like I said, not just attention. They love the validation they feel when the guy pursues them, and then wines and dines them, and then has sex with them and makes noises, and is really enjoying it. Like that really gives a temporary satisfaction to some girls, but some are awake enough to know, like, I don't want to keep doing this, but yet I can't stop doing it. Like, I can't stop doing it. This is a pattern and a habit that I would like to break, because it actually just makes me do it more and more, which makes me feel more and more empty. And the satisfaction I used to get when I do it, it's starting to wear off, but yet I still can't stop doing it. God, how do I get out of this rut? Okay, so this is what I want to share on. You see, and this is why I can't talk. We got to go higher than mainstream level, which is how they usually talk about these things, which is more in a psychology type of level, or look in the mirror and say I'm worthy, or whatever mainstream techniques there are. It's on the level of mind. It's mind that's trying to sort a problem out that's also on the level of the mind. How is the mind going to fix the mind? You got to go beyond the mind. That's why I made my other channel Spiritual Renaissance. We need spiritual power. This is how you sort that out. Well, what do you do then? Well, yeah, I have two channels. Spiritual Renaissance, that's like, you can say more advanced spirituality, and then I have this channel Transcending Shadows, which is like an intermediate videos that help make one who already has a spiritual practice, makes the spiritual practice more efficient, because the Transcending Shadows channel deals more with earthbound work and stuff like that. But even that is still not mainstream. We got to utilize the power of nature. It created these bodies. Our bodies are made out of nature, the 5 elements. We need to somehow get back in sync with natural laws. So on that Transcending Shadow page, I have a playlist called the 8 foundational principles to help increase your spiritual growth, or become aware of your spiritual nature. This is where it's at. This is where it's the only thing that I used to do the same thing. Look, I haven't met anybody who tried to get more female attention than myself, especially when I was overseas, because that was crazy. Especially going to villages where they hardly ever even seen a foreigner. I was just going crazy. So I know what it is. I could not be free of that until I started to, first I had to keep doing it. You burn out on it at some point, and then there's some surrender that takes place, because you realize this is what needs to happen. You need to realize you can't stop doing it. Even if you stop doing it, the tendency's still there. You can't get rid of the tendency. This subtle feeling of low self-worth, basically, is what it is. So even if you weren't trying to, everybody has it. Like, everybody has self-worth. Until we realize our true nature, we're going to have some level of low self-worth. And then we're going to, by default, try to look for something outside ourselves to give us some worth. Whether that be getting hits of male attention, or food, or marijuana, or sex, or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. We're trying to add some worth to this lack of worth that we feel. But there's only one thing that can make us feel truly worthy, and that's by realizing our true nature. Our true nature, like the nature that's going to survive this body's death, that nature. When something recognizes that recognition, you can say, bleeds through into this human form, body, mind, emotions, psychology, everything. It somehow washes all the impurities out and gives some sense of balance. Not as a one and you're done thing. It's not like just find God. It's a process. It's an evolution. People don't want to hear this though. They want more of a quick fix. Just give me some Prozac, man, and let me. That chills me. Okay. We can't. There's nothing outside that's going to do it for us. It has consequences at some point in the long term. It stops working. We get addicted to it. So we're addicted to something now, and it's not working at the same time. That sucks. This is why it's like the universe has coded it in a way to where we're going to find out sooner or later that nothing outside here, holistic treatment or not, is going to be the answer. The answer is, you can say, spiritual recognition, recognizing who we are. And this is the only reason I'm really making these videos, is I'm fishing, and I'm trying to find people who kind of already this message resonates with you. And I say, okay, let's go over now to the Spiritual Renaissance channel. And then we just stay there. We can still watch these videos for fun. I like them. And they're I try to share things that you already know somewhere inside you, maybe, but it's sleeping, and so then I something maybe activates that, this higher wisdom that you already have. So then you can kind of, it accelerates this this evolution that you're in. Sometimes we just need to hear something we already know. We just need to hear it from another being, and then it gives us the strength to stop doing it, or to take actions, necessary actions that will free us from doing it over and over and over again. That's what the 12 step calls insanity. We keep doing something over and over and over again, but expecting different results. Actually, there's some people, they do it over and over and over again. They already know the results are going to be the same, but they still can't stop doing it. This is the problem. This is why the answer, it's a spiritual solution. We need a shift in consciousness. Something shifts. There's some change inside that takes place. And then all of a sudden, you can say you start to recognize your own uncaused joy and self-worth. It's uncaused. It's not because of anything that we're getting outside ourselves. It's uncaused. When that's recognized, well, can you see then? Then you're not going to care so much about getting attention or not. You'll appreciate it if it's authentic attention. If a guy's like smiling at your depth, he sees something, it's like, whoa, I see spirit in her. You recognize that. And then something enjoys that, of course. You know the difference between that versus if he's just objectifying you. Yeah, I want to get with that. That's like, okay, yeah. You understand that. You don't resent it. You understand that stage. You know that he's going to have to suffer that state at some point. It's an organic compassion you have. This is part of this is what happens when the shift happens. All right? I'm still learning my audience, so I don't know how much this resonates with you. Let me know. I know some you do. Some you leave me messages in the comment section, and you're like, yeah, keep going. I appreciate you touching on these things. I like that. That makes me keep going, you see? Because I'm not sharing just to hear myself talk. I need to feel like these words are landing. Otherwise, like, what's the point? So go see my other channel, Spiritual Renaissance, if you like, or my other channel, Transcending Shadows. Those links are on my channel homepage. And if you want to have a private consult, then you can email me. My email is on the banner and also in the video description. Have a good day.